Good evening. You're watching government-funded news. Prime Minister Mark Carney has stated his intention for Canada to recognize the state of Palestine at the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in September. The Prime Minister has stipulated, however, that the terrorist group Hamas must first release all hostages, disarm, and vow to take no part in the future governance of Palestine. Oh yeah, I'm sure as terrorists go, they're famously good for their word. That's gonna be so easy to facilitate. No skullduggery at all. Oh my fuck.
After Wadia's first free elections, President Prime Minister Admiral General Aladdin won 98.8% of the vote.
In response to the Prime Minister's statement on Palestine, American President Donald Trump has posted to social media that this will make negotiating a trade deal more difficult. Remind me again why we all elected Carney?
President Trump has created a crisis.
Key news from Wall Street.
Pressure to react to the sweeping tariffs.
Well, I've led people through crises my entire career. I've worked with prime ministers from both parties to solve big problems for Canadians. And right now, we're facing the biggest crisis of our lifetimes. And we need serious leadership and a real plan.
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
The Ford government says it will appeal a ruling which found its plan to tear out dedicated bike lanes unconstitutional, and it would break the charter as it would be inconsistent with the protection of life, liberty, and security. And mandating experimental procedures to participate in society would be what? Another day at the office? So you have a greater right to bike lanes than what goes into your own body? The ruling went even further, saying that any steps taken to reconfigure the bike lanes in order to make room for cars would be a breach of the Charter of Rights. We might not be a real country. The Canadian Nurses Association Code of Ethics for Nurses denounces what it calls the white European-centric foundations of modern medicine. You know, all that stuff that works, and compels nurses to adopt a broad, progressive political belief system as part of their professional duties. Canadian nurses are now required to align their conduct with the precepts of gender ideology, Indigenous belief systems, and climate activism, going so far as requiring them to apply a planetary health lens to their care, that they understand the interconnectedness of all things human beings, nature, non-living entities. I mean, call me crazy, but I think nurses should apply a human health lens to their care and leave the rocks to the fucking geologists.
Human beings are a disease, a cancer of this planet. You are a plague, and we are the cure.
Elections Canada says voters will need to write in the name of their desired candidate during the upcoming by-election in Alberta to avoid a massive ballot with over 200 names. A group of electoral reform advocates known as the Longest Ballot Committee is behind organizing most of the 200 candidates. When asked for comment on the new blank ballot, a spokesperson said, "Sounds like they found a very reasonable solution." Yeah, well, what are they gonna say? We're fucking idiots and our protest was avoided by a blank piece of paper?
I love democracy.
New documents reveal that the federal government banned Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, and other streaming services on government computers last year after discovering employees were streaming terabytes of entertainment while at work. Did they ever do any actual work?
What would you say you do here?
Speaking of a progressive justice system, the president of the Ontario Crown Attorneys Association has said that attacks launched by politicians and the media in response to the Crown requesting a 7-year prison sentence for the crime of mischief for the two Freedom Convoy organizers amounts to an affront to justice. Yeah, that's an affront to justice. Not that lady in Montreal who got 1 day in jail for joining ISIS, or the 22 Canadian diplomats who got fired for stealing and fraud and embezzlement without the police being called, or a Christian singer not being allowed to play in a park or a church while Muslims call for the death to Jews blocking public roads and infrastructure every week, then it's definitely not a would-be pedophile getting 0 jail time because it might fuck up his marriage and somehow prevent him from becoming a citizen, as if we would want a citizen like that, but we're not allowed to talk about any.
That is not justice.
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks for watching Go FU News. And remember, if you think Sydney Sweeney's hot and like her new jeans advertisement, you're a white supremacist Nazi. Good night.